Have you ever hit that wall? You know the one. As a founder, a creator, you just feel like you have nothing left to say. It is such a frustrating dead end. Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down the architecture of what we call story momentum. We're going to show you exactly how to escape that cycle by shifting from the pressure to perform to the power of simple awareness. So let's dive right into the deep end, because this quote, it's the master key to everything. This isn't about trying to invent bigger, more impressive stories. Not at all. It's about a fundamental shift in where you put your attention, learning to notice the powerful, true stories that are already happening all around you.
Okay, section 1, the content dead end. We're starting here because we've all felt it. That specific draining feeling that the well is just dry. You've got nothing left to say. So let's unpack why that actually happens.
And you know, this right here, this is the root cause. It's that internal pressure we put on ourselves to sound clean and perfect and polished right out of the gate. That's the very first step toward burnout. We train ourselves to perform, and in doing that, we start filtering out our own messy, interesting human reality. So what's the next step in this kind of self-defeating cycle? Well, we immediately reach for a lesson. We feel this urge to find the moral, the takeaway, the neat little bow we can tie on the moment to turn it into valuable content. But here's the crucial mistake, the one we all make. Rushing to the lesson skips the most important part, the moment itself. That raw, unanalyzed experience is what makes a story connect with people, and we're stripping it out before it even has a chance. And here's where it all ends up. We try to make our story useful before we even let it be real. This constant loop of self-editing for polish and utility, well, it ultimately just silences us. We stop sharing the real moments, and pretty soon we convince ourselves we don't have any left that are worth sharing. All right, section 2, the performance tax. Now let's actually put a name to this problem, because when you can name something, you can start to manage it. This isn't just a vague feeling, it's a very, very real cost. So we call this the performance tax. Just think of it as a strategic liability. It's this invisible cost you pay every single time you force a story to be clean, impressive, and useful before you've even allowed it to be true. It's exhausting, it's unsustainable, and honestly, it's the #1 barrier to gaining real narrative traction. So what's the alternative, right? Well, there are really 2 modes you can operate in. On one side, you've got invention, that exhausting hunt for big stories, forcing a message, always polishing for performance. And on the other side, there's awareness, which is about naming what lingered, trusting the small truths, and just sharing honestly. That's the pivot. Okay, section 3, the parked car data. Let's look at a tiny micro-story to see this whole principle in action. What seems like a totally forgettable moment is actually what we'd call a high-leverage data point of human truth. You see, the parked car story works so well precisely because it's built on a foundation of being, well, aggressively unimpressive. It's not dramatic. It's not even a complete story. It's just one true line. And here it is, the core of it. I sat in my car because I didn't want to go back into my own life yet. Whoa. I mean, this is a feeling so many of us have had, but we almost never talk about it, right? It feels too small, too mundane, maybe too vulnerable. But that is exactly where its power is hiding. And I want you to notice how this story is actually built. It's not about abstract ideas. It's grounded in sensory details. The fluorescent lights, the feeling of hands on the steering wheel, that quiet dread. This is what makes a story feel real to someone, not just like a thought you had. And the conclusion? It's not some grand, sweeping lesson. It's just a simple observation. I think this is what overwhelm looks like when it gets quiet. It simply gives a name to a quiet, universal human experience. This isn't about teaching. It's about connecting through a shared truth. So let's pull out the strategic takeaways here. Why did this work? Well, first, raw honesty holds attention way better than polished performance ever could. Second, it proves that these small moments are actually really meaningful strategic assets. And here's the big one. Sharing one true story lowers the barrier to sharing the next one. That's how you build momentum. Through attention, not through forced creativity. Okay, section 4, from image to relationship. This is where we take that insight from the parked car and we scale it up, moving from just a single story to a core philosophy for your brand that unlocks real, sustainable momentum. This all brings us to the core strategic pivot. It's a choice. Are you managing an image, which means constantly performing, searching, and polishing your output? Or are you developing a relationship, which is grounded in awareness, in noticing, in honesty, which is what actually builds real momentum? And look, this isn't magic. It's a simple, repeatable process. It all starts with one honest story. That single act sharpens your awareness. That increased awareness helps you notice more small moments. Those moments then become more stories. And eventually, storytelling stops feeling like a chore, and it actually becomes a relationship with your own life. So if you take just one thing away from all of this, please let it be this. The pressure to post more is a trap. The solution isn't more output, it's deeper input. It's all about noticing more. You have to shift your strategic focus from the feed to your own life. So here's how you could apply this, like right now. Don't try to invent some big story. Just grab a piece of paper and write down 3 moments from your week that felt too small to matter. Then just circle the one that still has a little bit of emotion attached to it, a flicker of frustration or surprise or joy. That's it. That's your starting point. And I'm going to leave you with this to reflect on. Take a hard look at your content, at your strategy, at that internal pressure you feel. Are you managing an image or are you developing a relationship? Because the answer to that question is going to determine whether you burn out or whether you build lasting momentum. So if you're ready to make that pivot, if you want to go from managing an image to actually developing a relationship with your own life, the next logical step is to build a consistent practice. To build a system of awareness and unlock true story momentum, go explore 365 Freedom.